which you can understand the nature of Antichrist and the nature of Antichrist and the nature of the Messiah who would come to dispel their spells.
The next question is from Josie Hyman, who is French.
Yes. Is it a girl's name or a
I think it's a lady.
man's name?
Josie, it's just come from the lady's side.
Right.
Why do some Muslims believe Jesus is the prophet for Islam? Is her first question.
Because it is so mentioned in many prophecies of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that in the latter days the person who will appear in the name of Messiah or Mahdi would be in reality the true personality of Jesus Christ. So that is why we call him the Jesus of the time.
The second question is, why don't Christians believe in Prophet Muhammad?
What?
Why don't Christians believe in Prophet Muhammad, as Jesus said, if I don't go, another prophet will not come? As Jesus said, if I don't go, another prophet will not come, why is it that Christians do not believe in the Holy Prophet?
You see, where does Jesus say this? If I don't go, I don't see any reference to this. Has the reference been given?
No, but there is a reference from the Bible which is similar to this.
Where is that?
I don't have
Read
it.
it. Without a particular reference to Bible, that is the New Testament, I cannot answer.
We shall get the references. The next question is from Maryam Ellis, who is a Muslim and a West Indian. She is from the West Indies and a senior production officer. She asks,
Where is she?
Maryam Ellis.
Over behind the curtain?
Yes, sir. Do you foresee a third world war as a result of the war in Kosovo? And she goes on to say, some schools of thought are now advising their followers to store dried food for an impending catastrophe starting in September.
It's all bogus, meaningless. They'll see the September is not very far from here, and they'll see that that catastrophe does not occur in September. And if it does, then their saving of food will not be of any avail to them, because the atomic radiation will destroy everything.
Mr. Rashid Savage, who is an Ahmadi Muslim.
Please. Right.
What do you consider to be the most important issue facing mankind today?
Justice. If the mankind is brought back to real belief in absolute justice, then the entire world will be filled with peace. And if they are truly dedicated to justice, only then they can judge truth from falsehood. So either way, from the religious point of view or political point of view, justice is the most important thing.
Mr. Umar Abdallah, who is from Somalia.
Yes, please.
Two questions. The first question is, can a Muslim request nikah with a woman who has become pregnant before the nikah? He had all along intended to marry her. What would be the status of the nikah and the status of the child?
The status of the child, whether is so-called illicit result of illicit relations, will always remain to be that which has been mentioned in the Quran, that every child is born in the nature of God. That is nature created by Allah. and every child is innocent. So as far as the status of the child is concerned, he will most certainly be an innocent child. He will not be punished by the sins of his parents. As far as the marriage is concerned, this question should be answered in relation to the customs of the place, of the country in which this thing happens, what you're mentioning. You see, in Africa, I discovered that it has been a long practice that when husband and boy and a girl decide to marry each other, they have conjugal relations before the nikah, and then nikah is performed afterwards. Now this custom is wrong. I do not approve of this custom, but as a result of this, the nikah must be performed, because this nikah will give a legality in the eyes of others to the child born.
His second question is, after divorce, if a woman wants to rejoin her former husband, can she do that? Can a divorced woman go back to her ex-husband?
Yes, she's most welcome to go back.
Mr. Azad Hossein Bakas.
Is he from Mauritius?
He's Mauritian, yes. He was born here.
They pronounce the word Baksh as Bakas.
Yes.
And I have repeatedly told them, if he happens to be an Ahmadi, he should have known that they should return to the correct pronunciation of the word Bakas, which is Baksh. Allah's Baksh is, which Allah Baksh means Allah has given that child to somebody. So Baksh means God has granted that child to his parents. So this is a very good word with a good meaning. Why don't you stick to this pronunciation? Please.
Azad Hossein Bash. With reference to portrait drawing, I have been told that Islam forbids us to do this, and as an artist, I would like further clarification. Also, if portraits are forbidden, why are photographs not treated in the same light?
You see, photograph is an exact image, or as near an exact image as possible of the person. But when you draw a person's figures, then your imagination has a great part to play in it. If the person happens to be a religious leader, then the aura around it would be created by your own mind, which may not exist there at all. So it will mislead people ultimately to begin to sort of worship him. Not worship him directly, but to relate him to the powers of God in a sense that humans should not be related. So that is why every such art which may ultimately lead to idolatry is strictly forbidden. But I have never seen any hadith which prohibits the drawing of nature, because when you draw nature, it's not possible for you to create imaginary gods through drawing of nature. You try to be as realistic as you are, as you should be. So there is no hadith, to my knowledge, which forbids drawing of natural scenes, for instance. The drawing that was known at that time was that of imaginary gods. and as such